So, welcome to a beautiful sunny day here in Oliva, beginning of June, starting to get hot. So we're going to have about over 30 degrees today, so beautiful day for playing golf. What I'd like to talk to you about this morning is just maybe a few basic putting technique, just so that you can check a few fundamentals in your putting stroke. First of all, the grip again. Okay, so the grip is very important for us here. So what we'd like to see is, we talked about the grip of the full swing, getting it into the fingers. Here we want it in the hand. So it's going to run through the lifeline. It is going to be an extension of my left arm, of my arm. So we definitely don't want that angle there. So if I had it in the fingers, it's going to be an angle here, and that's going to cause the club to rotate too much. So we really want the club to be in the lifeline, in the hand, an extension of the arm. Okay, so I've actually got a little hole at the back here now. Okay, and I'm just holding it now just under that meaty part and in the hand. Other hand, same thing. Okay, so I'm going to put this hand again, the club in the lifeline. Okay. What we see a lot nowadays is they have a little bit of a thicker grip. And actually what we'd like to see is, if I'm putting my hands on the grip, that the hands are parallel with each other. Okay, so we don't actually like to see the hand on top, because as you can see here, this forearm here is in front of this one, so that shoulder is going to be in front. So I'm actually going to have a stroke that's going that way. So it's a lot easier if I get the hands parallel with each other. Okay, now you can see my forearms are actually parallel and my shoulders are also parallel. Okay, so the grip that a lot of the guys use out there is, once I've got the hands correctly together, we put the index finger over the right hand, over the fingers, and that is connecting the hands, and it's helping us maybe also to keep the wrists a bit more stable in the putting stroke. Okay, so just checking that again in the hands, getting the hands pretty much together, and then connecting the hands. Okay, so we really don't want the grip to be very tight. Okay, we want to have the hands nice and loose on the club. Okay, so that our putting stroke is not affected through tension, or that the wrists are going to move or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, it's hot today. Okay, so let's talk about the setup. Okay, so we start with maybe with the feet. I'd like to see a little bit of a stance that is a bit wider. Okay, because we have a better balance. Okay, a better, more stability in the putting stroke. Let's talk about the ball position. Okay, so what we actually like to see when we're hitting the putt is that the club is actually moving up and hitting the equator of the golf ball. Okay, if it's going to move up, the ball's it's always going to go backwards. Every ball that we hit in golf goes backwards. It's got backspin, but then it's going to roll a little bit quicker. So you can imagine rolling a tire in the street. Okay, so that's pretty much the motion that you want. So we want the ball to be 2 inches in front of the center of my body. Okay, so it's going to be 2 inches in front of the center. Okay, So I like to talk about it in relationship to the sternum and not to the feet, because we'll see a few players that have the weight a little bit more forward, so their ball is going to be a little bit more towards the left foot. Okay, if your weight is in the middle, you're going to have the ball pretty much 2 inches in front of your sternum. Okay, that is going to allow you then to hit up onto the ball. Okay, so hitting the equator, so the club is actually going to move up to get the ball rolling better. So that's a bit of ball position. We're going to flex the knees a little bit. Okay, now what we actually want in the putting stroke is we want more of a rocking of the shoulders and not a rotation. Okay, so the golf swing, if we talk about the golf swing, we're talking about that position. So this is allowing my spine and the shoulders to rotate correctly. This we don't want in the putting stroke. So we want the shoulders or our back to be curved. So we're going to be over the ball. And in this position, it's a lot easier for my shoulders to rock. If I'm in that position or standing too tall, my shoulders want to rotate. Getting the back, or getting your back a little bit more curved, the shoulders more rounded, and the eyes are now over the ball or just behind the ball. Okay, so we really want the eyes to be on the line that we actually want to start the ball. Okay, so if somebody's standing very tall, their eyes are going to be here. So you really want the eyes to be over or just behind the ball. Okay, the arms, I like to see the arms a little bit more bent and onto the body. Okay, so we have more stability. I think it was Adam Scott that used to put his shirt under his arm to create this connection, and then to create that body arm movement. Okay, so we definitely don't want the arms there or the arms straight out. We want it nicely connected to the body. So the arms are pretty bent. I'm about I'm 6'2", okay, 184, 1m84. I have a 34-inch putter. Okay, because I like the idea of getting more over the ball, arms into that position. Okay, so a 35-inch putter is, for me, I have the feeling I have to stand up, and it's so I really like to see the putters a little bit shorter. Okay, even for the taller guys. Okay, so 34 inches is, for me, that creates a nice position, eyes over the ball, good posture, and I'm able to then do my putting stroke. Could talk about balance. Okay, if you look at my putting stroke, if you see what the knees are doing, okay, so I'm not, see a lot of guys out there, a little bit of Elvis Presley when they're putting, okay, so we really like everything to be pretty stable, nice 50-50 balance, like the weight to be centered, definitely not the weight forward or backwards, because I've seen videos, even this small little stroke, if you're not balanced, the body is actually going to move. Okay, slow motion videos show that the body is actually moving, looks like somebody on a ship. Okay, if you're not balanced. Putting stroke is, there are different ideas out there. Okay, different ideas. Putting stroke would be 50-50. Okay, backswing, forward swing. Other guys talk about 40-60. Okay, so a little bit of a shorter backswing, longer follow through. Okay, it is pretty much a pendulum. So a good little exercise, maybe just to feel this pendulum motion, is if you put two sticks under your arms. Okay, getting into that position. Okay, and then creating that motion. Okay, so you can see everything is moving together. My shoulders are rotating. So what you see a lot in amateur golf is the guys, they take the club back and hit the ball and stop. Yeah, okay. It is that pendulum motion. So you can feel that if you just, or you can put 2 clubs as well. If you haven't got tour sticks, just take 2 clubs and just feel that motion. Yeah, so if you round about 50-50, 40-60, that's okay. But it's always going to be pretty much the follow through. We definitely don't want to hit the ball or get the wrists moving. It's that pendulum motion. The rhythm is pretty much, if you're talking about the time ratio between backswing and impact, it's always going to be pretty much 2-to-1. Okay, so the guys have got always this, they try and really get the same rhythm going. Okay, if you're talking about 0.60 backswing, you're going to have 0.30 seconds to impact. So that's that 2-1 ratio. Okay, in the golf swing, we talk about a 3-to-1. Here it's a 2-to-1. Okay, so if we're talking about the rhythm, this is pretty much the 2-to-1 rhythm. Okay, so it's a metronome, and that's the time. So they talk about, that's pretty much an average rhythm for the stroke, for the putting stroke on the tour. Yeah, okay. It's actually something nice to, you can actually put that on the ground and try and create that. So even if it's a short putt or a longer putt, we always try and keep the same pendulum, the same rhythm. Okay?